Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. We should be live, we should be up and running. A few issues today, so slightly later than we normally would be, and I'm a little bit behind on a couple of things as well, but we'll get all those things ironed out. All I can say is we're live on That's Football, and that's been quite a challenge to get that done today. Apologies for what went on with Xander's stream. We've sorted it out with FIFA, and it's sorted. There was never a bloody issue in the first place, but I can sort of understand where it went wrong, but we sorted it. So we're live here, and thanks everybody who's sent their messages and everything like that. We've built a great community during the last year on That's Football, and especially over the World Cup. So another World Cup game up and ready to go. Drop a like on the video. Remember to subscribe if you're new. I'm going to get your live comments up. I'm going to get the team news up, and we're going to rock this house. Tonight, we've got a World Cup game, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. All the other stuff is just obstacles, isn't it? So, yeah. Spain, if Portugal finish second, they'll play Uruguay. If Portugal finish top, they'll play Russia. It's as simple as that. So, who do you want to play? I'd want to top the group if I was Portugal, and goal difference could come into it. We'll obviously be keeping an eye on Spain versus Morocco as well. And we're starting to get to that interesting point now, aren't we, where we start to see who is going to be playing who. Uruguay beating Russia. I know there was a lot of players rested as well, wasn't there, in that game, and it sort of had an impact, didn't it? So can you really learn a lot from that? Can you really learn a lot from who won the game between Russia and Uruguay? Probably not, in all honesty, but we will certainly see Spain and Portugal going for it tonight, because they will want to get off to decent starts. Ronaldo will want to get his golden boot back, stolen by Harry Kane at the moment, who's probably scored the worst hat-trick I've ever seen. I got a lot of stick for that yesterday. I was I'm a big England fan, of course I am, and all I was saying is it's arguably the worst World Cup hat-trick ever, isn't it? It was 2 penalties and a deflection shot that he had nothing about. So, but Harry Kane's in the box seat, and to be honest with you, as an English man and a Manchester United fan and a lover of Ronaldo, as long as Lukaku, Ronaldo or Harry Kane win this golden boot, I will be absolutely ecstatic. That's all I can say. I'm just getting the team news up for you now anyway, because I know a few of you are desperate to see who's playing for Iran. And I can tell you in a moment that Azmoun definitely starts. I'm being a little bit of a wally, aren't I, tonight? But I've been really, really busy, and it's going to be nice to sit and watch a game with you lot. So the team news is there. I need to sort the score out as well. It never stops. But we're good to go nearly. 0-0 at the moment. I've made a massive error on my Super Brew Predictor League as well. I didn't put my scores in for today, which is absolutely stupid when you're trying to compete to win a league. To forget to do your Predictor League is massively stupid. And so I missed 2 games today, which was stupid, really, really stupid. And I didn't pick, so what a wally. So I'm just going to pick these now, and I've only got 7 minutes to do it, so let me get this done. What do we got? We got Portugal, Iran. I'm going to go 0. And I'm going to go... No. There we go. That's done. That's boxed off. That's boxed off. Great. Right, everybody. I'm back in the room with you now, which is nice to be in this room with you. How are we all doing? Got 416 people watching already. That's great. Ricky Grimshaw says apparently Iran fans were outside the Portugal hotel last night. They were. Iran is a good team, says Kamyar. They defended really well. Nearly forgot to just got in before the 3 p.m. game. Well done, Kieran. The annoying thing is it was 2 games that I didn't put scores in for, so I don't even know where I am in that league. I'll have to have a look. Kieran crawled into the top 60 today, and it's back and rolling, says Ed Woodward. And is the lot in the under-22 Portugal team, says Hits Teal. He's injured at the moment, mate. So Carlos Queiroz against his countrymen, his rugby, very interesting. He's going for a Portugal win, 2-0. And Tejas, yes, basically what happened earlier on is Xander was live, and halfway through the stream it went because there was a copyright strike from Sony, who have got exclusive World Cup rights to show the World Cup in India. So Sony India put a copyright strike in against a lot of streams on YouTube that they, blankets, I suppose, and. So we spoke to them this afternoon, explained the situation, and they undid it because obviously we don't show the game. As many people turn up on this stream and says, "Are you showing us the game?" And that's the big reason we don't show the game. That's the big reason we don't do it, play the commentary or anything like that, or the noise, because you can get done for that because that is illegal. So we got it sorted in time, but I didn't think we were going to get it sorted in time before 7 o'clock. But they turned it round really, really quick. So Ronaldo watch is on That's Football, and we go again. So I hope Ronaldo gets a goal tonight. I'd like to see him. I love Ronaldo. I don't make any secret of it. I love Ronaldo. It really is that simple. And I don't ever expect him to be coming back to Manchester United. But he was at Manchester United. I think he's a fantastic player. Absolutely fantastic player. So I will be hoping for a Ronaldo goal tonight. And I've not really looked at the teams myself yet. I'm battling to get live and get everything ready for you, which we appear to have done. But I don't know how Iran will approach this game, because if Iran won, they actually leapfrog Portugal, because Portugal are on 4 points, but Iran got 3 points against Morocco. So if Iran won, they'd go up to 6 points, and so that makes it rather interesting in that sense. That also in this group, we've got Spain, who've got a goal difference exactly the same as Portugal at the moment. They're only top because of yellow cards. So if Portugal better Spain's score tonight, then they can go top of the group, which means they'll play Russia. Because if you're Portugal or Spain, you probably prefer Russia over Uruguay. I personally think both Spain and Portugal will win both those games, whoever they play. But lots to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on the Spain game as well. I certainly will do. And we'll get rocking. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new. I don't know how many subscribers we're on now. Yeah, well done, Xander. He took us past 39,000 anyway. He did his job this afternoon, even if he only did half a shift. But well done on that, sir. And we are up and running. It's absolutely scorching in the UK as well. We're going to have a really hot week, and the one thing the Brits are great at doing is moaning about the weather, whether it's cold or it's too hot now. I like it hot, but it's too hot. It's too hot. We've got a whole week of this to come, and I tell you what, it is quite hot. So I was out cutting the grass this morning. It is very hot, and we've got 27 degrees tomorrow, 27 Wednesday, 27 Thursday, 26 Friday, 26 Saturday. Drops off a little bit over the weekend, bit of rain on Sunday, but lovely hot weather, and a bit of World Cup matches as well. You cannot go wrong. You cannot go wrong. So the Portugal team, Rui Patricio in goal, bloody good goalkeeper. Cedric Soares, Pepe, Fonte, Guerrera, Quaresma starts. He hasn't started the last 2 games. Adrian Silva, William Carvalho, João Maria, Andre Silva, and Cristiano Ronaldo. So no Guedes, no Martins, and no Bernardo Silva for this game. He's started, and no Moutinho. So they seem to have rested a few, dropped a few. I don't know what people think about that. Moutinho's a good player for them. I thought João Maria has been really crap for Portugal in the 2 games so far. So maybe they're resting a few players, and maybe he would like to normally rest Ronaldo, but Ronaldo will say, no, don't rest me, I score goals. I want the golden boot. England versus Mexico quarterfinals, it's coming home, says Ricky Grimshaw. Well, if we get that as a quarterfinal, they better win. Anvish says, what's your thoughts on the team sheets tonight? I haven't seen the Spain team. Let's have a quick look at the Spain team, because we are doing Portugal as the preferred game tonight. And sometimes we will do 2 streams, like Xander will do 1 game and I'll do the other, but tonight we're only doing the 1. So Spain have gone with De Gea, Carvajal, Piqué, Ramos, Albert, Alcantara, Busquets, Silva, Iniesta, Isco and Costa. So only really 1 change for them, which is Thiago coming in, and I can't think who they've dropped actually. They played Vasquez, didn't they, last game? So, yeah, one change. But pretty strong teams from both. Iran have got... This is the game to watch. This is the game to watch tonight because Iran have got the better game. The chance of going through. I hope Iran open up. That's what I want to see. I hope Iran open up and have a go because that's going to make it more interesting for us. They parked the bus in the Spain game and they got very, very close, but they didn't. They got no cigar. So I hope that they go for it. My score prediction, being as we are about to kick off, is going to be 2-0 to Portugal. But it's very hard to pick results in this tournament so far, isn't it? Really hard to pick tournaments because pick the scores because I mean, who would have picked England? Let's be honest. Who would have picked England to win like they did? And I find it hard. I find it hard sometimes to pick who's going to win, let alone what the score might be. But I've gone 2-0, which is a bit conservative. I mean, I went 4-0 to England in the Panama game, and I still got that wrong. But goal difference is the same with Spain. Points are the same with Spain, and Iran are early free kick here for Portugal. I don't know whether Ronaldo might fancy a shot. I've got the timer up. Don't worry. There's your timer. If you want to sink in, 40 seconds in. And 4-0 to Portugal, says Chris Windle. 2-0 to Portugal, says Callum Christie. And yeah, Metro Boom, and if people are asking, we cannot show you the game. Absolutely cannot show you the game and would not show you the game because you do get taken down if you do it. As I've said so many times, people don't believe us, but you do. You sometimes get taken down even when you're not showing the game. So yeah, this is a watch along. What we do here is we're watching the game, you're watching the game all around the world. We have a bit of a community and a bit of a match chat. So you're welcome from wherever you are, whoever you support. And I presume a lot of people going for Iran tonight. Maybe Portugal, I don't know. England are playing on Thursday, Andrew Kidd. Thursday night at 7 o'clock. It's Belgium, England. The way that the tournament's going to run now is you've got the last group games up until Thursday at 7 o'clock. On Thursday at 9 o'clock, we'll know every group, every knockout tie. Friday is a day off, the first day off for the World Cup after 2 weeks. Then Saturday, we're straight into the last round of 16 with 2 games a day. 8 games, last round of 16. That takes us through to next Tuesday. Then we have 2 days off. And then on the Friday and the Saturday, you've got your quarterfinals. So that's the way it's going to run for the next while. Remember, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. Come on, Iran, says Astonishing Abrijit. And Kieran Holmeson's going for Iran as well. Javan Powell's gone Portugal 4-0. There's a few people going with that. Portugal are a bit like England, though. They don't normally hammer teams in the World Cup. So maybe we go. Ed Woodward says, everyone subscribe to That's Football and drop a cheeky like on the video. Let's get the channel to 40,000 subscribers. Yeah, that's what we're going for. 40,000 subscribers. Probably not tonight. Is Ronaldo into the box? Good shot, straight at the keeper. Could have had a goal there in the first 5 minutes, like he did against Morocco. But a good opportunity for Ronaldo there. And for those people who didn't catch the 3 o'clock kickoffs today, I don't even know what. Obviously, you get to the point now where you have to start missing matches because they kick off at the same time. So I didn't see Saudi Arabia versus Egypt, and I'm not going to pretend that I watched it on playback, even though it looked like quite a good game. But Uruguay beat Russia 3-0, which means Russia and Uruguay are the qualifiers. Uruguay in top and Russia in second place. So whoever finishes top of this group, Portugal and Spain's group, and Iran, whoever finishes top, they play Russia. Whoever finishes seconds plays Uruguay. And I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think Portugal. I think Portugal probably would prefer Russia, but I don't think if I was Spain or Portugal, I don't know what you lot think, I wouldn't be too fussed either way. I think they could beat either team. So I think Portugal and Spain will go through to the quarterfinals, whoever they get. There we go. Did Salah come on at all for Egypt? Did anyone actually bother to watch Egypt, Saudi Arabia? Darth Raven says, I wouldn't mind Iran snatching a win. Yeah, the trouble with that is that if Iran won, that's basically a bye, isn't it, for Russia or Uruguay? I think, now Portugal are one of the teams that I wouldn't mind winning it because they've never won it. So here they are on the attack. But Iran defended really well, and I hope they're not going to defend like they did against Spain because they're going to have to probably keep it tight for the first half, but at some point they're going to have a go, aren't they? And they can win this game. They can qualify if they win this game. A draw's probably not going to be good enough for them. Salah scored for Egypt. Okay, thanks everybody. Lots of people saying that. Pankaj, Ricky, Abel, Acid, 3SY. Let us know where you're watching from, everybody. We've been a little bit rushed tonight, but let us know where you are watching from, and we'll give a shout out for people where they're watching from. Yes, there is a United stand tonight. 9 o'clock every night, the United stand at the moment while the World Cup's on. Although I will get to do an 8 o'clock show on Friday night because there's no World Cup. We've got people watching from Isle of Man, Three Legs Wrestling, Manchester, MUFC Up Gamer, Australia, Christopher White, and it's 4 a.m. That's dedication. That's what you need. Akash is in Barcelona in Spain. Obviously hoping for Spain to do well, I would have thought. Simpsons predicted Portugal versus Mexico final, says Diogo. Well, let's see. They sometimes get it right, don't they? Ryan says City are crap. Ryan_SND says City are crap. London, Cameron, Coventry for Daniel, and India for NVS, Wakanda for Manan, Cyprus, Chris, I bet it's warm there, and the Bronx, New York for Ivan, India for Anvesh, India for Astonishing, Abrijat, and Callum Christie says he hates Ronaldo, so I want Iran to win, but they won't. Boston, London, France, Malta, India, Spain, London. I tell you what though, don't you feel that in the live comments? Because I feel it when I'm presenting it. I feel as if we're all, I mean obviously I'm the visual person, I'm presenting it, but Iran are on the attack here. Let's just watch this bit. It shoots well wide. Yeah, I mean it's amazing, isn't it? Whether you're typing in the live comments or whether you're just watching, all these people are all over the world. It's amazing modern technology, isn't it? And it's amazing that we can watch a football match together from all around the world and interact with each other. It's absolutely amazing. That's why I always ask, really, because it's like here I am, sat looking out the window, a nice summer's evening in the Midlands, and thinking, well, there's people watching this game with us who are, in America, in Asia, Australasia, Africa, Antarctica, South America, North America, Central America. I think I've named all the continents there. If I've missed one out, I apologise. Middle East. Good old Texas, says Abel Hernandez. So, yeah, it's been an interesting first 7 minutes to this, and I think this was the game to do. This was the game to do, because the previous watch-along is up now, Amith. We've mentioned basically what happened is Xander was live doing Russia versus Uruguay, and the video got took down because effectively the sponsor from India for World Cup, which is Sony, basically went on YouTube and took a load of videos down that they thought were streaming the match. And obviously we weren't streaming the match, but if you read it, which is why we've changed the title a little bit now, we've always called it, we would have called it Portugal versus Iran live stream watch-along. And sometimes we put World Cup in the title, so we won't be doing that anymore because it's obviously a red flag to the FIFA World Cup sponsors, so they just did a blanket takedown and we got took down in it, but obviously we appealed it, and to be fair to them, they let us appeal it very, very quickly. I was expecting 24 hours, so to get it done in 2 hours was really good of them, really, and they did apologise, so no harm done, apart from we missed Xander's second half of that game. But we're back for the Portugal game, and that's the main thing. Portugal on the attack here, bit of a mistake. Maria over the bar, he's had a crap World Cup. Keeper's pushing his defender there. Come on. Basically, a ball into the box from Carvajal, and defender's got it sorted, but the goalie comes out. They collide with each other, and it drops to Joao Maria on the edge of the box, who puts it over the bar. Just hasn't got the technique. Joao Mario, sorry. PK should have got sent off, says Marvin Millen. Thanks, everybody who's keeping us up to date with the Spain game. I've got the Spain game, but it's that my eyes are on the Portugal game, so I find it difficult to keep an eye on both games, and this one's got more on it. Pankaj says England versus Portugal final. So Simon, apparently, well, it's not apparently, Sony have got the distribution rights, and if we've got anybody in India, they should be able to verify this. But Sony have the distribution rights for the World Cup games in India. And I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, FIFA, you talk about the corruption allegations of FIFA, but you think about it, the FIFA World Cup, it's not just the big sponsors like your McDonald's and people like that. It's every different country will have different licenses and different things going on. So that's why when we got it from Sony, I was like, what? What's Sony got to do with the World Cup? But apparently they've got distribution rights in India. So there you go. Let's go Portugal, let's go, says Savage Killer. And I don't understand all the fuss about Carvajal. Herrera is better, says Yumas Mahmood. I've never been mad about him. Brazil or Serbia is going to be a great game, Adam T. We need to keep an eye on it now, don't we? Because we are into that final group stage, and I'm getting mixed up with who's playing when. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock is France's group, which I think is going to be a bit dead rubber, to be honest. Australia, if they beat Peru, have a slim chance. But I think Denmark and France are going to go through from that at 3 o'clock. And then tomorrow night's interesting, isn't it? We've got a Nigeria-Argentina at 7 o'clock, which is the big game. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on Iceland-Croatia. We could get Xander to do Iceland-Croatia if you want us to, so let us know about that. Brazil-Serbia is 7 o'clock on Wednesday night. Really looking forward to that one. South Korea, Germany and Mexico-Sweden, 3 o'clock on Wednesday. Could be quite interesting. I'm certainly interested about Senegal-Colombia on Thursday at 3 o'clock, and then we finish it off, like I said, with England. Belgium, their group at 7 o'clock. We know they're going through, it's just who they're going to play. Sid says he's a Ronaldo boy. Hopefully he's going to get a couple. Anirudh, yeah, everything's fixed. Ryan's been to Sri Lanka. He says it's a lovely country. Cross coming in. It's over, Ronaldo. And I think he wanted a handball there, Ronaldo, but doesn't think like it is. Durrani, it's not the Express, it's Duncan Castles. We'll be talking about that at 9 o'clock anyway. Alisa Tanning says, is it possible to show the live video of the match? I think somebody in the live comments might tell you why we don't do that, especially after this afternoon. Any chance of Uruguay winning the World Cup, says Karan. I think if they did win it, it would have to be, grind it out. I don't think they're a good team. I don't think they're a good team at all, and I think that they've got a good defence, but I mean, Bantanka's quite a good midfielder. Oh my life, the goalkeeper's just dropped it, and there was no Portuguese player to tap it in, but it's following a very similar theme to the Spain game. Cross is coming in. Iran are defending quite well. Carlos Queiroz has obviously got them well organised. Apparently, England is warmer than Brazil at the moment, says Salim. They're definitely better than Brazil on the pitch. Oh, corner ball. Morocco have scored against Spain. So no clean sheet for De Gea, says Paul Gibson. And I think Morocco ruined the chances, didn't they, when they played that first game against Iran. Losing to Iran really did mess Morocco up. They could have had a really good chance. But they're 1-0 up at the moment. My prediction for the Spain match, Anvesh, was 2-0 to Spain. So I've got that wrong again as well. But unfortunately, Spain can't go out, can they? They're not going to go out. But I think if Morocco had beaten Iran, it would have made it very, very interesting. But Iran aren't going to win this game, so... Bouteb scores for Morocco, so 1-0 there. I've got a free kick for Portugal here. Again, I think this is way too close, but Ronaldo will take it, but he shouldn't go through. He shouldn't have. Zahir says, as it stands, it's Spain out and Iran through. Yeah, but that's dependent on Iran drawing, isn't it? Ronaldo wants his goals. He won't care about knocking Spain out. He needs goals, so... bit of a shock at the moment. I mean, I don't think Morocco will beat Spain anyway, is it? It's more relevant for Portugal to finish top of the group and play Russia instead of Uruguay. Ed Woodward says, Ronaldo free kick opportunity, let's go. It's not the sort of area. It's quite similar to the free kick he scored, actually, against Spain, but it's probably a little bit too far to the right and a tad too close for him to do anything about. But let's have a look. Low Fat says David De Gea hasn't saved a single shot in this World Cup so far. And it's going to be another corner. Ronaldo's flicks over the top. Corner for Portugal. It's way overhit, that is. But Carvajal does well to get it back. Pepe. No. No. Nothing doing. Yeah, Roberto BS, I am watching the game in live action. Can Iran go above Spain? Portugal and Iran go through, says Ricky Grimshaw. The only way that would work is if Spain lost tonight and then this game was a draw. I think I mean, I may be wrong. I have been wrong in the past, but I really think this is more about who's going to finish top and second out of Spain and Portugal. Goal kick. Apparently Ed Woodward says that in the terrible defending by Spain, I'm just watching the goal back now, Piqué makes the mistake and it's a one-on-one, and De Gea can't do much about that, can he? And it's not as if Morocco worked hard for the goal. It literally was a piss-up at the back between Piqué and Busquets, and it allowed the Moroccan to run through. Anyone like the tennis, actually? I was looking at that today. The tennis is going to come... The Wimbledon final is going to overrun into the World Cup final, because the Wimbledon final gets off at about 2:15 on the Sunday, and then the World Cup final is at 4 o'clock. So, I mean, I don't expect England to be in that final, but I will be watching the World Cup final. So it's a little bit irritating that Wimbledon, which I really enjoy watching every year, I will have to cut short. Flex and Rant show goes up tomorrow, Aaron. I haven't had it yet, but it goes up at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So good show by the sounds of it as well. Who will Uruguay face in the round, do you think, says Chaz? I think Uruguay will play Spain. I think Portugal will finish top. Having said that, it's 1-1. Spain have just equalised, so maybe it's all about who scores the most goals, isn't it? The referee's just playing for Iran here. Little bit of pass and dribble by the ref. Isco Disco, says CR7 Ronaldo. And Iran are having a little bit more of a go than they did against Spain, to be fair. Portugal never whack teams, though. They never do. Get a bit tasty here. Now Iran have a free kick. Abby makes a good question that I'm going to throw to everybody else in the live comments. Basically says, if you were a scout for Manchester United, who would you have selected or shortlisted based on the World Cup? Now, obviously, I'm not a big fan of that because I know that the World Cup standard, I love the World Cup, but it's a festival in a bubble. The standard is not comparable to anything like La Liga or the Champions League or the Premier League. However, there are players that are in this World Cup that I think I'd be happy to scout and say, let's scout a little bit further. But I'd be interested to know what you think. I mean, James Rodriguez is an obvious one. I'm a big fan of his. Irving Lozano, who I said at the start of the tournament could be a real breakout player. I like some of the defenders, to be honest. I do like some of the defenders. I like Milenkovic at Serbia. I really like him. Centre-back. I like... I do like that Quintero for Colombia. I know he's sort of gone off the ball a bit and he's been on loan from Porto, but I do like the look of him. I don't think there's been any striker that's really impressed me. Well, they have impressed me, but they're all well known, aren't they? Your Harry Kanes, your Lukaku's and your Ronaldo's. But yeah, there's one or two. There's one or two. Gary Wells says he's sick and tired of Spain now, even though I love De Gea. I feel the same. I don't like Spain at all. I don't. I love De Gea, but I don't like Spain. Simple goal there, cut back from Iniesta, and Isco just whacks it into the roof of the net. So 1-1. Oh, that's a lovely ball down the flank there. Cross comes in. Quality of the cross is not quite there from Portugal. Or Iran's positional sense is good. Chicharito says Vishu. Ooh, Rui Patricio. I think he might have caught one in the head there. Lloyd Maestro likes Gelson Martins. Cherchev says CR7 Ronaldo, the Russian. He's done quite well. Ed Woodward has made this point twice now, and I haven't seen it back, so I don't know. But he says that Ronaldo's free kick, one of the Iranians actually blocked it with their hand. So that's a bit nasty on Rui Patricio. Remember that one on Petr Cech all those years ago? And basically, it's totally accidental. But as he's sliding out, the shin of the Iranian has whacked Patricio right on the head. And I don't know whether he'll be able to play on because that could be concussion. Jack Lundmark's likes the South Korean goalie. What? Yeah. When was this Musa? Where was this Musa for Leicester? Haha. When he plays for Nigeria, looks like a quality striker. Says Miles Butterworth. Pankaj is watching because of Ronaldo. Salim wants to know who's watching Portugal and who's watching Spain. Let us know in the live comments. Phil Mitchell says, Ed, it's he blocked it with his elbow, not with his hand. That's a lovely picture, isn't it? I am loving this World Cup. I'm loving this World Cup. And I hope... I was speaking to Drawty today, actually, and he was saying the best World Cup ever. And I just said to him, my only concern is Saturday, when the knockout stage starts, is it going to continue this great tournament? Because I've seen it so many times, and we saw it a bit in 2014 and definitely in 2010, where you have a decent group stage and then everyone gets into the knockout stage, and it matters so much that they become quite tight affairs. And I don't want to see that. I want the tournament to go good. Mark Willis is flicking between them both. Gary Wells is right. It is unusual for the World Cup final to kick off at 4 o'clock. It's always I've known it to be like a 7 o'clock or an 8 o'clock kickoff for the actual final. So, but Portugal are struggling in this game at the moment. Jordan Curley's loving the World Cup. De Gea's just made an amazing stage, says Isaiah Daniel. I just hope in the knockout stage that Spain, Germany, Brazil carry on and France carry on being crap, and then they get knocked out by a decent team like a Croatia or something like that. Or maybe a Mexico. Or maybe, just maybe an England. Ben Johnson says, forget the Spain game. It means nothing. I'm surprised people are watching that over this. We made the choice, Ben. We could have done both games tonight, but I didn't really have a lot of interest in the Spain game, to be honest. It's this is the one that's going to make the difference. Is Ronaldo. That'll be... offside. Struggling to break him down at the moment. Which goalkeeper has impressed me? What a good question that is from Samajit. Because I think in relation to goalkeepers, you probably can judge them better than anybody, because goalkeeping's goalkeeping, isn't it? It doesn't matter about the league. Rui Patricia, Portugal, has done very well. I think if he wasn't such a moaner, I think Ospina for Colombia has done okay. I thought he had a good game yesterday. What other goalkeepers have really impressed me? Let's have a quick look at the groups, because that will make me memorise it better. I think the Mexico keeper's quite good, Okocha. Peru, Australia, Denmark. Schmeichel's done well. Yeah, Schmeichel's done well. I thought the Swedish goalkeeper was all right. I thought, yeah, he's good. Olsen, isn't it? Yeah, it's probably a little bit early to say, but there's been some good goalkeepers. You're right. Ocha, that's it. Akash. Ari says German TV showing the boring game always. I don't know what we're doing in the UK. I'm watching the BBC, which is around Portugal, but I don't know whether ITV have got Spain or it's like on the red button. I don't know. Nigeria will beat Argentina. That's tomorrow night, isn't it? Looking forward to that. What we'll probably do tomorrow night, certainly tomorrow night, and potentially we won't do it Thursday because no one's going to want to watch Tunisia Panama, but we will do it tomorrow night, and we might do it Wednesday night. Is do both games, do 2 streams at the same time. Spain's on BBC 4 apparently. Thanks Shane and Paul and everyone else who said it. Portugal, you can do better, says Amalza Lagaski. Yeah, Lagaski. Yeah, I agree with you. I do. I think Portugal should do a lot better. But it's interesting. I don't know whether they've rested a few players. What are people's thoughts on that? Or has people heard anything about Portugal? Because no Guedes, no Moutinho, and no Bernardo Silva for Portugal. But if they lose, they're out. So it's a good ball. That's a lovely, great ball. What are you looking at? Little dink, corner ball. Ronaldo's getting a bit irritated, but Iran are defending well. Would I like Carvalho at... I can't never pronounce his name. Carvalho at United, says Giovanni. No, I wouldn't. I think he's been linked to United and Arsenal for about a decade, and he always stays in Portugal. And I think we pretty much see why. I think he's good, but he's not quite that good. Moutinho's got a knock, says Adre. Thanks for that. Iran or Portugal, says Aaron Mitchell. I'm going Portugal because I love Ronaldo, but Joy Deep says none of them were arrested. They were poor against Morocco. I thought Portugal were poor against Morocco. I thought we'd see a little bit better from Portugal, to be honest, because that Portugal-Spain game, for me, is still the best game of the tournament. Yash Vora says Portugal or England, which has a better team? I think it's fairly equal. I think you could argue both sides. I think you could argue England have got a better team. Obviously, Portugal have got the best player. Lynn, De Gea didn't make another mistake. No, it was PK who made the mistake. It was a one-on-one. Shane Green says it's coming home. CR7 Ronaldo says a World Cup is not a World Cup without Italy. I tend to agree with you normally, but actually I think it's done a pretty good job of not missing Italy, if I'm honest. I mean, Italy, to me, I've got family who are Italian, so, I might put it on tomorrow, actually. I've got a real retro Italian top, but I can't really wear it because they're not in the tournament, but I will wear it tomorrow just for the laugh. But I do agree that a World Cup isn't a World Cup without Italy, but we haven't really missed them, have we? It's been a great tournament. And also, it's their own fault. Sahal, do not call me a fool, otherwise you will just be removed. There is no need for abuse, whether it's on a live comments or in real life. Make your point and end it. You don't need to add an abusive word in. Basically, he said it was Ramos who made the mistake. End it there, but he has to add in fool at the end. Why? You just ruin your comment. And in life, don't do it. Just don't do it. It really portrays you in a bad light, and society doesn't need that. Why add the abuse in it? What are you trying to prove? Do you think Japan is the best Asian team in this World Cup? Says Joy Deep. Oh, hands down, mate. Hands down. I suppose they play in the same They play in the same qualifiers as Australia, though, don't they? So, but I still think they're better than Australia. But Australia wouldn't class themselves as Asian. I know. God, how theatrical was that? He's going to book him as well. Nothing wrong with him. Raphael gets booked. I thought he got the ball. I think the Iranian made an absolute meal out of it. Oh, sorry, Sahal. Ramos is the fool. My little rant there then. Well, no, it's still true though. I mean, let's just take it. Actually, that did look like it was a yellow card, to be fair. I apologise to Sahul then. It's just the way I read it. But actually, let's take the bigger lesson from that, because we get it on social media all the time. One of the things that really saddens me is when I'm reading the comments on the United Stand, which I do, and sometimes I reply to some, but I read them all. And you'll see somebody make a really good point, but then in there they'll have called people knobheads or this, that, and the other. I think you just ruined your point there. You were making a really good point, but you've ruined it because you've tainted my opinion of you with abuse that wasn't necessary. No, cheers, Zahal. Sorry, no, I do apologise because I'd read that the wrong way, but appreciate the clarification. Daniel Rowland, I agree. I thought the Iranian rolled around a little bit, but actually it was a foul and it was a yellow card. The Phil, Twitter is disgraceful. It is for abuse. It is unbelievable. But I do like Twitter for football. But the abuse you get on there, you just got to make your point. Oh, header straight at Rui Patricia. He had no problems with it. But yeah, it's you just got to make your point on Twitter and then not read the replies, really. I'm all right. Anthony Muller, how are you? And Tiernan Clerkin says, if I was Russia, I'd rather play Spain. I think Portugal would be the tougher test for them. Oh, he's going to have to book him for that. Bit late on Fonte. But at the moment, this is job done for Iran, because if they can keep it 0-0 with 10 minutes to go and then go for it if they need to go for it, you're laughing. Phil Mitchell's on about Mark Lawrenson, saying he sounds like he hates life. See, I don't listen to any of the commentary, which is great. I mean, we've had some right meltdowns through this World Cup in the UK. So if you're not from the UK, you won't really know about this. But we have a good morning programme, which is on in the morning, funnily enough, with Piers Morgan, which you might have heard of. And they had Jason Cundy, who does Talk Sport, and he's ex-Chelsea. So he was on this morning, basically talking about this female commentator who did a game last week. I think it was Iran. Was it Iran, Spain, or was it Morocco, Portugal she did? And people were talking about having to mute it because she was so irritating. So obviously people have said that might be a little bit sexist. But this Jason Cundy was on Good Morning this morning saying that it's not sexist. I just wanted to turn it off because she had such an irritating voice. And then Piers Morgan called him a sexist. Then you've got Phil Neville, who some people find quite boring. Then you've got Mark Lawrenson, who divides opinion as well. So we've had a lot of commentator chat in the UK over the last while. Fortunately, as I said, I don't get to make a comment on that female commentator because I didn't hear it, because I watch all the games, but I mute the commentary anyway because I'm interacting with you lot, so I don't want my thoughts to be clouded by what they're saying. So I can thankfully make no comment about the female commentator and not get myself into any trouble. Isaiah Daniel says, all of my family in England say that Piers Morgan is a douche. Is that fair? He's good and bad. When he's bad, he's bad. And when he's good, he's good. He's a divider, I suppose. He's an Arsenal fan. That doesn't help. Abdullah says the best commentator is Gary Neville. I don't really listen to commentary anymore because if I'm not doing... most games I watch now, I'm doing watch-alongs, and certainly on the United games, it's watch-alongs, so I'd much rather just read your comments and interact with what you lot have got to say than listen to what some highly paid... And paid doesn't really come into it, but I think the lack of knowledge is terrible. I mean, there was a guy doing... I don't even know who it was. It was yesterday afternoon because Xander was doing the Japan-Senegal game. And so I watched that and I had the commentary on. And I don't even know who the male co-commentator was. But he was just making stuff up. He was like, oh, yeah, it's definitely a foul. And you watch it back. No, it's not. Oh, ref's done well there. It's not a foul. I've just watched it. It is. And you think, they're so bad in their preparation. And they try and go off on tangents to make themselves sound intelligent. But I think the quality of after-match, half-time punditry is crap. I really like Roy Keane. But that's about it. Iran on the attack here. They'd certainly put a cat amongst the pigeons if Iran scored. Portugal being their absolute typical self, by the way. This is Portugal in tournaments. They don't concede many and they don't score many. And they grind results out. But they look like... Oh, they look lacklustre, Portugal, to me. Mark Willis says, Piers Morgan's two-faced and they're both ugly. Pankaj, that would be gin and lemonade. Because I drank all the tonic on the weekend. Said Jamie says, female commentators is refreshing for the game. Yep. Jack Lundmark says the pundits and commentators in Sweden are really good. Yeah, the female thing's interesting in sport, in football, because it's just breaking barriers down, isn't it? Everything changes, and to be honest, I don't really have a problem with it. I went to school over 20 years ago, and I remember in my media studies class, there was a couple of girls who regularly went to watch Forest play, and you could have a conversation with them about tactics, about everything. So I don't get what the problem is with, oh, they're a woman, they shouldn't be commentating and things like that. Ronaldo shoots straight at the keeper, a long way out. Hal Nar says, I really miss the club football, but I also have no team to support at the World Cup. You know what, mate? When England play, it's a nice bonus, but I'm not. That's not why I'm enjoying the World Cup. If I'm honest, when England play, it's great, but it's pressure because it's your team. I've loved the World Cup for these sort of games. I've loved the World Cup for the football festival it is that I keep calling it. I've actually really enjoyed the World Cup, and you know what as well. Obviously, I'm a big Manchester United fan, and I do love club football. But the thing that I've really liked about the World Cup is, the standard's not as good, but it matters more. It seems to the fans it matters more. You see the fans in the grounds, it really matters more to the fans to the players. A lot of the players, it seems to matter more playing for their country, and that's quite refreshing because I think in club football, a lot of it's about the dollar, isn't it? A lot of it's about the green, and so I've enjoyed the World Cup as the little bubble it will be for 4 weeks every 4 years. I've surprised myself about how much I've really got into it, and I think you forget, don't you? You do forget. It's a bit like you forget about it because it only happens every 4 years, and then when it comes round, you're like, oh, I love the World Cup. There's Ronaldo on the break. Carvalho. Oh God, couldn't pass a parcel. Here we go, into the box. Oh, he should have took a tumble there. Mark, I honestly think the standard is higher, the refereeing is better, and there are less defensive errors and mistakes, as Tyrone Williams. What, in the World Cup? I beg to differ. Gary Wells says, if Portugal do go out, they can only blame themselves for this approach to the game. You know what, though? Portugal against Morocco, if Ronaldo hadn't got that goal very early on, it was quite an equal game. It really was. Michael Hubbard says it's boiling in London. It's boiling in the UK, isn't it? I think London was going to be the hottest, though. Approaching half-time. Joy Deep said he had high hopes of the African teams in this World Cup, and to be honest, they disappointed me. What's your thoughts on the African teams? Well, it's Senegal or Nigeria now, isn't it? I felt that Senegal and Nigeria would be the two better teams. Obviously, Egypt and Tunisia haven't done that well. I mean, Nigeria could get to the knockout stage. They could get to the knockout stage, couldn't they? They could beat Argentina tomorrow and then they go through. Tunisia were very disappointing, but I think they're the highest ranked African team, but they were very, very, very disappointing. Senegal, I thought Senegal looked good against Poland, but then Poland looked bad last night. And then against Japan, I think defensively is where Senegal have gone wrong, really. They're going to have to beat Colombia, aren't they? They're going to have to get a result against Colombia to go through. So Morocco as well. I thought Morocco could have done something in this group, and they haven't. So yeah, I suppose all in all, the African teams have disappointed, haven't they? I mean, Egypt, I thought in the game against Uruguay was their best game, and obviously they let a goal in the last minute, and that seemed to let the wind out of their sails a bit because they got annihilated by Russia. Morocco messed up against Iran in that first game. That was a huge setback because if they'd had those 3 points, it would have been a big boost. Senegal and Nigeria are still competitive. Tunisia just weren't very good. Bahani says, I don't see how Nigeria will beat Argentina. Because Nigeria aren't that bad. I watched Nigeria play England just before the World Cup in a friendly at Wembley. In the first half, they were poor, but the second half, they were the better team. So Nigeria can beat Argentina. I think Argentina have to be favourites, but I think Nigeria and Senegal are the best two teams in this tournament from Africa. And with a bit of luck, one of them might make the quarterfinals, which I think is an achievement. But a lot of people have been saying about the African teams for a long time now. I mean, Cameroon made the quarterfinals in 1990. That's nearly 30 years ago. We've never had an African team as a semi-finalist, have we? So Portugal. Oh, that's a cracking goal. Take that out. Lovely little 1-2. It was better than Lingard's, this. He really, really did well. Didn't he do well? That was a lovely, lovely goal. And Portugal will lead right on half-time. Starts out on the right-hand side. Quaresma it is. I thought it was Quaresma. Didn't recognise the face. Quaresma it is. Starts out on the right-hand side. Plays a 1-2. He's coming in towards the box. And then used the outside of his right foot to curl it in. It's one of those. It's a lovely little play. And the outside of his right foot. Lovely. Curling with the outside of his right foot. Just cuts across it. Straight over the keeper. Into the top corner. 1-0 to Portugal. And that should make it a very interesting second half now, because Portugal will have to come out. Not Portugal. Iran will have to come out now because they need a draw or a win. So they can't just sit back and defend anymore, which is what they've pretty much been at. So, and Portugal's 5th goal of this tournament is not scored by Cristiano Ronaldo. They finally got somebody else scoring the goals for them. So 1-0 to Portugal. It was a beautiful goal, says Abel Hernandez. Orgasmic, says Cookie Dough. Beautiful goal, says Darren Sweetman. That's funny because you both said that at literally the same time on the comments board. Jason Fagan says that Quaresma is so good at that. Who does Quaresma play for now? Seems to have been around for years. Bahani says that's game over for Iran. They need to get to half-time Iran, and then they need to make a decision about what they want to do, because they're not going to score a goal if they keep playing the same way as they are. But we've only ever seen Iran as a defensive force. Besiktas is where he plays. Tommy Harold says. Says. Man United is my city, says. Lots of people say. There you go. You're all far more knowledgeable than me about certain things, as I always say. That's Quaresma's signature move, says Fellaini's 3rd leg. And Salim says, wonderful goal for Quaresma. They will get Russia. Russia could beat Portugal, you know. Russia could beat Portugal. A lot of people might want Russia to win, host nation. You don't want the host nation to go out. You want them to go as far as possible. How far did South Africa go in 2010? They didn't get out of the group, did they? Tuso says, I just said Quaresma is a smart player, and then he unleashes a very smart shot. Pradjit9 says, keeper should have saved that. Half-time in the Spain game. Thanks, Adam T. And Ronaldo is not in the mood tonight, says Blishard Crushing. I think he is. I just think he's struggling to get the space, isn't he? He's playing tonight because he wants a goal, isn't he? Kieran Burns says that Russia played a weakened team today too. And Anarad says, as I'm neutral, I wanted an Iran goal first. We're at half-time, and I've got a very generous super chat here to read out, which I will do for you now. Let me just read, knock the timer off. So half-time, 1-0. Mini Mourner's made a contribution. Remember, you can do that through the super chat option, which is the dollar at the bottom of the live comments. But a very generous super chat here from Mini Mourner. He says, people do not always respond well to change. Does not mean it's bad. It takes time and a dash of respect. Sadly, lacking on today's media. Some think it will emasculate football. I, for one, look forward to more females being involved. So, yes, thanks for the contribution, Minnie. But also, picking up on what we were talking about before about, little bit going on in the UK about a female commentator. You know, people are hiding behind the fact that she's just got an irritating voice, but a lot of people are seeing through that and saying that actually it's just basic sexism. Minnie Mourner basically saying that it takes time and a dash of respect, sadly lacking in today's media. Some think it will emasculate football. I, for one, look forward to more females being involved. And he's right. People do not always respond to change. And Yusuf says, who did the goal? I can't listen you clearly. Can you repeat it again? It was Quaresma who scored the goal. He's 34 and he plays for Besiktas, says Lofat. So he started out on the right touchline. He cut in, played a bit of a 1-2. He's cutting in towards the corner of the box and just hit it with the outside of his right foot, which curled up and over the keeper. And lovely little goal. In fact, they're just showing it back again now. So he's right on the right touchline. Little 1-2. One touch, just as he's entering the corner of the box, curls it with the outside of his foot. 1-0 Portugal. Lovely stuff. So he started off in the live comments now. Sam Howes says it's stupid. To say it's sexist is stupid. Well, you know, Sam, it's all about opinion, isn't it? But what if... I can see both sides, to be honest. I mean, of course, somebody can find something irritating. That's fine. But if somebody finds it irritating because it's a woman, they can also say, I find it irritating because their voice is annoying, when actually, maybe they're a little bit sexist. So there's two sides. Daniel Brooks says, 2 ladies on Fox Sports have been great. And Denzel says that South Africa were the first host nation not to exit the group stages. Well, they were always up against it, to be honest, weren't they? I can't remember who was in their group, but I do remember them scoring a goal. I think it was in their first game, which was a big moment. Salim says that Quaresma is going to be Portugal's man of the match. It's 1-1 in the Spain versus Morocco game. Morocco taking the lead early on with a mistake at the back, and not De Gea's mistake, and then Isco making it 1-1. As things stand at the moment, this would put Portugal top on points, and Spain would go through in second place and face Uruguay. Portugal as top would play Russia. However, if Spain go back in front, then they would go back top. Portugal will need to beat Spain's goal difference. Portugal scored about 2 minutes before half-time. JD dribbles. And Martin Keown's painful to listen to, says Shane Caulfield. Lamia Sayed. Okay, it started off in the live comments. It's not a route I want to go down because I actually genuinely don't have an opinion on it because I didn't actually hear it. So I can't jump on it either way. I can't, and I'm not going to. So I think we should just, realise that this is not the place that you're going to have a definitive answer. Some people have one opinion, some people have another opinion. That's the way it is, isn't it? Minnie Mourner says, change is not stupid, showing little to no respect is. Those comments could end up having a reverse effect on how much females will be brought forward. Martinho isn't playing because apparently he's got an injury, Michael Brook. I thought he played well in the opening 2 games, so I think that is probably why. What a strike in the Portugal goal, says Connell. Yep, it was a cracker. Remember, if you're new, please do subscribe to the channel. We are doing every World Cup game as a watch-along. Nearly weren't, but we are. And we are getting close to 40,000 subscribers, which would be great to hit by the weekend. So if you are new, please do subscribe. Don't forget to drop a like on the video and do share the video as well. Let's get as many people involved as possible. I'll tell you what I have missed today. I have missed the 1 o'clock games. That was... it was difficult not having the 1 o'clock game today. Sam says, lots of respect for you taking a neutral ground mark. To be honest, on these sort of things, I think somebody does have to, don't I? And that's... I can be very opinionated on that on the United Stand, as people will know. I mean, I am live at 9 o'clock tonight on the United Stand, which is our Manchester United fan channel. But on here, this channel is for everybody. We keep saying that. It is for everybody. It doesn't matter who you support, where you live in the world. And we've had some brilliant debates about VAR. I mean, VAR. There's a point. Where's VAR gone? VAR's disappeared, hasn't it? We've not had a VAR moment, have we? Did we have one this afternoon? Because we didn't have any yesterday. We've not had any in this game. We've not had Ronaldo said it should have been a penalty to the ref there, but Phil, I'm sure I'll buy FIFA 19. I'm sure I will. And I tell you what will be interesting, and Sam Howes has just said that. I wonder if Jason Cundy will get suspended by TalkSport. That was the very first thing I thought when I saw it on Twitter today. Is I bet he will get suspended, which obviously then creates an issue. Iran has to win to stay in, says Jordan Harbour. They do, yeah. Which is going to be very difficult. I think we can comfortably say Portugal are going to go through, but I think it'd be an interesting second half if Iran come out a little bit, won't it? Croatia versus Colombia in the final, says Ben France. I think that there's many finals that I would like to see, and none of them involve France, Spain, Germany, Brazil. I'd love to see Croatia, Mexico, Croatia, Colombia. I'd love to see that happening. I'm just watching there the highlights of the Spain first half, and I don't quite know how Gerard Piqué doesn't get a red card. To be honest. Why didn't he review it on VAR? It's horrific. Should have been a red again. So VAR not being used again, and the crazy thing is the referee was looking right at that. He basically jumped into a tackle with 2 feet showing. And it is Sergio Ramos who makes the mistake for Spain. 1-on-1 then against De Gea, and he puts it in comfortably. A little stand up for a minute, stretch the legs. Croatia Belgium, says MLA89. Yeah, as long as it's 2 teams who've never won it before, I think it would make for a cracking final. Lofat says that Piqué's 2-footed tackle should have been a straight red. 100%. Yeah. Would you like the Champions League teams from Group A play teams Group B, or do you like the random draw aspect, says Jamie? I quite like the random draw aspect. So 1-1 in the Spain-Morocco game. Isco did equalise quite soon after that. Oh God, they're such an irritating team, Spain, aren't they? They really are. Denzel says Piqué's tackle was reckless. Brazil-Spain would be the best final, says the GOAT 555. If you love repeats, some of us want new content. I mean, how many times have they won it? Wackass, I'm talking about Anthony Martial on the United stand tonight at 9 o'clock, so we can talk about that then. Pro at FIFA says England have won it, so you don't want them to win it. Well, look, of course, the rules don't apply to the country that you support, so of course I want England to win it. I certainly don't remember them winning it in '66, so I'd love to see them win it. I don't think they will win it. Morocco actually had another chance in a 1-on-1, and it was a good save by De Gea. Tell you what I'm looking forward to seeing though is when probably on Thursday when we know every knockout game and we can sort of predict the table. Well, you can never predict, but you can sort of get an idea of who's going to be playing who because we'll know both sides of the group, both sides of the tournament tree, won't we? So there'll be certain teams that can't play each other until the end, which is going back to that comment before. I think I'd rather what would happen is that when you finish your group, it all goes into a pot and it just gets picked out randomly. But then again, can't do that really, can you? Because you've got to give preferential treatment to the teams that finish top of the group. I don't know why Piqué wasn't sent off, I really don't know. Andrew Rossi, I don't think anybody knows at the moment whether Lukaku is going to miss the game on Thursday. I bet he won't want to. Now he knows that Harry Kane's gone a goal ahead of him in the tournament. He won't want to. Pro at FIFA says, I hope England get Japan. It's hard to call who's going to go through in that group though, isn't it? It's really hard to call because Colombia, as brilliant as they were last night, they're still going to have to beat Senegal. If Senegal draw with them, I think they go through, don't they? Yeah, they do. So Colombia have to beat Senegal. Daniel, I am doing Argentina versus Nigeria tomorrow night. I do all the 7 o'clock games, and I'm not going to start doing 3 o'clock games probably until... I am from the knockout stages, but this week I think I'm doing Wednesday, Thursday 3 o'clocks, so I'm not doing 3 o'clock tomorrow. So 7 o'clock, I'll always do the 7 o'clock. 12 Cantonazes makes a bloody good point about the draw. Is like there's not much time to organise things, so the way it is, they know roughly where they will travel, which is very, very good point. Senegal in the final, says some Yats. Prejic says Shaqiri and Xhaka to get suspended. I don't think they should. I don't think they should. I think if they decide that their celebrations were political, then a public apology will do. Don't make them miss out on that. It's a lovely drink. Right. What I need to do before the second half starts is turn the other light on, because it's getting a bit dark. So it won't be a minute. Don't leave a light on for me. I'll be there before you close the door. Give you all the love you need. It's a bit light, that is. Back. John Carlos says, I can see Uruguay and Portugal doing well. Both have have locked down defences and DMs. I agree. Being good defensively is always a big advantage. Kunal says, can Iran come back strong in the second half? What are you thinking, everybody? I think we've got to see a different Iran, and that is something we haven't seen. Iran have approached this tournament in 3 games very, very defensively, and they have defended very well. I mean, they've only conceded 2 goals in 3 games, so. Tell you what, that penalty save from the Egyptian was bloody good, wasn't it? I think the best team on paper is probably Spain's, the GOAT, 555. Ed Woodward, I'm not eating anything, I've just got ice cubes. Ice cubes in my drink. Blistered Crushing, your comment doesn't make any sense. Please rephrase it and I will read it again. Anyway, second half is about to kick off, and I said this before, I think that the best defensive partnership in the World Cup is 100% Uruguay, isn't it? Godin and Jimenez. There's a fly on the camera. There's a fly on the camera. Or a wasp. It's just above the POR. They've changed camera now while they kill it. It won't be there when we go back. VAR was used in the Egypt game, says Pro at FIFA. Thanks for that, pal. Low Fat says that Ronaldo's not made a big impact on this game so far, which is very fair to say. Belgium and Roberto Martinez are winning the World Cup, says Jed Rowlands. You see, I think your first part of the sentence makes sense, but Roberto Martinez winning a World Cup doesn't make sense. He's not a great coach. I also think it's unfair that people keep saying England have only played Tunisia and Panama, but no one's saying that about Belgium, and they've only done that as well. So, yeah, they've got good players, Belgium, Belgium should be looking at quarterfinals at least. But winning it again, I'd love Belgium to win it. A team that's never won it before. Oh, timer. It is running. I just forget to put it on. There you go. 1 minute and 20 in. Ronaldo has had a chance in this game. He had one in the first couple of minutes, but he blasted it straight at the keeper. Sort of a half chance, but he's not had a sniff since then. And he won't be happy about that because he wants his golden boot. Jed Rowlands likes Martinez because he used to manage Swansea. I didn't mind him when he was at Wigan. I think it was at Everton he went off the boil a little bit. Southgoat, says Sam House. That is good. He will be christened Southgoat if he wins the World Cup. That's for sure. Just going back to what we were talking about before, in my neutrality, I did just log on to Twitter, and obviously some of you might not like this, some of you might like it, but Jason Cundy's released 3 tweets, one of which says, I regret the comments and also the hurt and anger they caused. I realise there is absolutely no place for these demeaning attitudes towards female commentators, and I'm truly sorry. So, some people felt that what he said was fair because he just found the voice irritating, but he has now probably taken advice from people who've told him to retract it. So is that right or wrong? Should he stand by what he said? That it wasn't sexist. I just found the voice irritating, but he's now apologised for it. Do I play FIFA, Tristan? Yes, I do. I did a lot of World Cup streams with the World Cup updates, which I actually really enjoyed, but it was always going to be short-lived, wasn't it? On my Goldbridge live stream channel. Here's Ronaldo. Oh, penalty. How is he not given that? He's got to go VAR. He's got to go VAR. That looked like a stonewall penalty for Ronaldo there. He's got to go VAR. It's a stonewall penalty. It's an absolute penalty. It's stonewall. You can't not give that. Oh, my life. I mean, I'm not going to sit on the fence for that. That was a stonewall penalty. And he's not giving it. Absolutely joke. He's got it. He's going to go. He's going to go for it. He's got to go for it. Well done, ref. He's got to have a look at that. It is a penalty for me. I can't say it's not. I do feel sorry for the Iranians because you got that delay, but it's a penalty, and VAR obviously works there. I think he might give a free kick on the edge of the box. Penalty. Yeah, it is a penalty. He's gone right. Look, I think Iran need to get a grip here because it is a penalty, and VAR obviously when they get to look it. So Ronaldo gets the opportunity to level up with Harry Kane on the golden boot. And, you know, I love Ronaldo. But it was a penalty. There can be no doubt about that. Did Lawrenson say it wasn't a penalty, Stephen? I've been very fair with the penalties, to be honest. I've been very fair with VAR. Mitrovic should have had one on Friday. Sweden should have had one on Saturday night. I don't know why they didn't get referred through, but that was the same as the Mitrovic one for me. It definitely should have been referred through. Let's see if Ronaldo can get his 5th goal. You'd put your house on it, but somebody did say I think he'll miss. Keeper's standing right in his goal. He's going to jump forward, I think. And he's missed it. He has missed it. Oh, Ronaldo. Oh, no. I mean, I'm shocked. Some will say justice. That's the. I've gone a bit quiet, haven't I? That's it, isn't it? What's the referee on about here? They're going to get someone sent off, Iran. They're losing their heads. Pradjit says it wasn't a penalty anyway. Nice save, says Jordan Thompson. When we get to see it back, I'll tell you how good the save was. Stephen said that Lawrenson said it wasn't a penalty. He's an idiot. Absolute idiot. And keeper was 6 foot out, says Harper Hull. I did say that before he took it. He was in his own goal, and I think he leapt forward, and the referees never do anything about that. Hal Noah says Messi fanboys getting out of their cave. It's a definite penalty anyway. Of that, it cannot be denied. And Carlos Queiroz walked off when it was given. It's fair to the keeper. He's gone the right way. I think if Ronaldo had watched the keeper, he'd have just passed it in the other corner, wouldn't he? Oh, the manager's been sent off, says Salim Hussein. Fine, fair enough. It does keep Iran alive, Isaiah. Yeah, no, he's not been sent off. He's there with the player coming on now, so he's not been sent off. So it doesn't do Ronaldo's golden boot hopes any good, but he's still got 35 minutes. I'm sure he'll get another chance. Ooh, bit of a shoulder barge there. We might get a VAR. Makes the game a little bit more interesting anyway with the penalty miss, doesn't it? Hey, I'm a massive Ronaldo fan, but I'm not touchy about it. Low fat. You miss penalties sometimes, don't you? You do. It's one of them things. It was a penalty. He missed it. Keeper saved it. You just got to crack on, ain't you? Kunnell says, I think there's going to be a red card. I think in the context of the game, it makes it very interesting for the last half an hour because it's still Spain 1-1. And, Iran need 2 goals, but they're going to give it some, aren't they? Denzel says, Iran need to cool their heads and focus on playing football. Abel says, a lot of penalties this World Cup. I think we've broken the record a long time ago, haven't we? I think we've nearly had more penalties in this World Cup than we've had in entire World Cups before, so... Portugal just need to pass out from the back a little bit better because Iran are going for this, and I think Ronaldo. Oh, what an interception that was there! Good cross along the ground, and it's Pepe who stretches to put it out for a corner. And if he doesn't make this, there's an Iranian right behind him to tap it home. It's really good defending by Pepe, and it's a corner for Iran, and they're going for it. The crowd are loving it. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. Morocco are bossing, apparently. I mean, Morocco are a bit like Peru. They were a team I thought would do quite well, but they blew it by losing the first game. Peru losing to Denmark. If you lose that first game, it's very difficult to come back from. I mean, Colombia can do it, but losing to Japan really has put them in a difficult position, and it did for Morocco and Peru. Iran, nothing happens with the corner. Manan says, imagine if Iran score. There was a guy with a Man United top in there. Yeah. Palash is nervous. United fan in the crowd, says Man United. We're everywhere. We're everywhere. Sam wants Portugal to go out. A few tasty tackles going in from Iran now. I wouldn't take Pepe at United now, Pankaj, no. He's too old, isn't he? He's too old now. I think he'd struggle in the Premier League, he really would. Remember to subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. We're getting closer and closer to 40,000 subscribers. We're live for every single World Cup watch along, so if there is a game, get on That's Football and join in the match chat. Still half an hour to go in this. Still a chance that Portugal could lose and go out and Iran can go through. Whilst it's 1-0, there is a chance. It's me, Mike, says I still think Portugal are going to win it. Darren Sweetman's right. Football is at an age where it's better to attack. Jim Jimison has been very impressed with William Carvalho. He says he's been very has been very impressive in the group games. He gets through a lot of work. Kaka says, I don't think it was a penalty anyway, to be honest, but that's my opinion. It's all about opinion, Kaka. I thought it was Stonewall, and I think the VAR was spot on. I think that's where VAR works well, because I think live, when you watch it live, like the ref did, he's like, oh, I think he's dived. But then when you get the benefit of watching it back, you're like, actually, it was a reckless tackle. Come on, Portugal, put it in the box. The crossing's been pretty poor in this game. Ronaldo took the penalty, Sandmo's one. There's Quaresma again down the right hand side. Sam Howe said he'd love to see Spain going out. Well, it's getting tasty in this second half anyway. And Iran are getting really irate about things. I think we might lose one with a red card at some point. Ed Woodward said he punched him in the face. I was just about to see it back now. He sort of throws his hand back. I don't think he's looking at doing that, to be fair. Archie says Quaresma's a bit of a baby. Remember, subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. We're doing every World Cup game as a watch along, so get involved with it. Good game this, good game. 2 today. As things stand at the moment, Spain are still drawing with Morocco, so it would be Portugal playing Russia and Uruguay playing Spain. Maybe Spain aren't going... I mean, maybe Spain are happy to play... it's 1-1 in the Spain game still, Canal. Maybe Spain are happy to play Uruguay and they don't want to play the hosts. I don't know, you know. Playing the hosts is not necessarily the best thing. Sturkey HD says Portugal to go out. So there's an advert there from BBC iPlayer saying watch it in Ultra HD on iPlayer. But if you watch it on Ultra HD on iPlayer, you're about a minute behind. So this is the thing that really annoys me. BT Sports is the same as well. If you actually watch it on HD, you're about 30 seconds behind from what you are if you watch it on lesser quality. And that's the problem. That's one of my pet hates with HD. Got a yellow card here for Quaresma. My score prediction was 2-0 Portugal, so I'd quite like a Portugal second goal, obviously. Bad tackle there from Quaresma, but it's not a red card, contrary to what people think. Well, have Iran got a goal in them? They need 2. Sebastian Boetez says Portugal, good players, such a poor, bad character team. Yeah, Quaresma and number 6 both exchanging bad tackles with each other there. But both still on the pitch for now. Isaiah Daniel says, a little bit of a mini rant, but that's why Quaresma never lived up to his potential, because he has such a weak mentality and is so fragile. He never really did make it at the very top, did he? But he's always a player that everyone knows about. Phil Foster's an iPlayer and he's 50 seconds behind. Yes, it is irritating. Apparently BBC HD is only a second behind. Here's Ronaldo. Shoots wide. Kieran Brooks says, same old Portugal, shithousing their way through. I find Danny Murphy. I don't really want to say what I think about Danny Murphy, but he just sounds like he's not all there. He doesn't sound like he's all there at all, and it's not even the sound of his voice. What he says comes across as he's not all there as well. Miles, I always did like Mark Lawrence, and I don't like I said, I don't listen to the audio anymore, so I don't know. Bernardo Silva is coming on for Portugal, and I wonder if they'll take Quaresma off because he's on a yellow card. 12 Cantonars. I'm not 25 seconds back. YouTube is 25 seconds back. I'm watching it live, but what I'm saying to you is probably 25 seconds further on because YouTube isn't live for live. There is always a delay with a YouTube live stream. Ronaldo out on the left. So Carvalho is Quaresma with a bit of space. Well, we've got about 20 minutes left, and I think Iran needs to start pushing because I don't think low latency mode closes the gap, the stream time down at all, Shells. I think YouTube always has a delay in any stream that they do. There's always a delay. I think Portugal in the final third have been a little bit lacking. Very much similar to the Morocco game, actually. I mean, they got an early goal against Morocco, and they've been poor after that. So if we could get an Iran goal in the next 15 minutes, it'd set the last 10 minutes up really well. Ed Woodward has made a good point. Do you think the advertising boards put the players off a bit because they move? I suppose there's a lot of movement in the crowd, though, isn't there? You know, you just get to. Bernardo Silva for Quaresma, then the most predictable substitution because he was obviously going to get another yellow card at some point. Lovely goal by Quaresma, though. Substitution for Iran. Yeah, I agree with you, Miles. I like Frank Lampard as a pundit. It's a shame he's gone to. Well, it's good for him that he's gone to manage Derby, but I thought he was a really good pundit. Really, really eloquent and educated with what he was saying. Now we're gonna have to put up with Rio and Danny Murphy and co. Sam House says that Portugal are just like my home team, Wales. Very one-sided. Yeah, I suppose Wales, it's all about Bale, isn't it? And Portugal's the same. It's all about Ronaldo, who's missed the penalty in this game. Good save by the keeper. And to be fair, if it wasn't that one bit of brilliance by Quaresma, Iran would probably have another clean sheet. And they only conceded 2 goals, Iran, in this whole in 3 games. And one of those was a lucky goal for Diego Costa. So Michael Hubbard has put a question to Jared and anybody else who lives in America. He says, what's the general feeling in the US with the World Cup and not having your team in the mix? It's still 1-1 between Spain and Morocco, Fizzer. Oh, that's a rubbish shot. Over the bar, I think it was Guerrera. For Portugal. No, it wasn't. It was Adrian Silva. "20 minutes to go for Portugal." I don't know why we've got so many dislikes on the video. Please, we've got 900 people watching, so please do drop a like on the video. And yeah, I think a lot of people tune in thinking that we're going to show the game, which, to be fair, the description has been... We've tweaked the description a little bit during the World Cup anyway to try and, you know, not pull people in thinking it's the game. So Portugal versus Iran live watch-along. No, maybe we could word it a little bit different than that. But I suppose once you understand what a watch-along is... Yeah, maybe that's why. Well, yeah, as Snap says, don't forget to move over to the United stand at 9 o'clock, which will be straight after this, which is our Manchester United fan channel. We're live at 9 o'clock every single night during the World Cup. We're normally live at 8 o'clock, but we can't be doing that when we've got World Cup games to watch. So we will be live at 9 o'clock tonight on the United stand. In fact, if you've got any United fans and there's any particular topics you want us to discuss, as a little bit bonus exclusive That's Football Club, I will take a few notes and we can talk about some of those things. If I like any of the comments that you mention, feel free to do it. Mega says, how do you feel about the 3 countries hosting the World Cup in 2026? Canada, America and Mexico. I'm going to go to that World Cup. And to be honest with you, I'm not... To be honest, Russia is such a big World Cup, isn't it? It spreads such a large distance that I don't think there's going to be a hell of a lot of difference between Russia holding it and Canada, Mexico and America, because it's still all one land space, isn't it? I know it's 3 separate countries, but it's all one big land mass. So I'm quite excited about it. I think individually they could have held the World Cup either in America, Mexico or Canada, but... I'm looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to Qatar. We've got a bit of a VAR moment here, have we? Or are we going to send off Guarez? Ref's running over the touchline. Substitution for Iran then, 15 minutes to go, and apparently America had to share it with Mexico and Canada, otherwise they wouldn't have got the World Cup. I'd quite like to see an Iran goal, to be honest. I want Portugal to do well, but Ronaldo missed a penalty. Says Gareth. So he did miss a penalty. Obviously, the keeper saved it, but a keeper can save a penalty, and a striker can miss a penalty. I think that was more of a miss for Ronaldo because the keeper was moving a lot, and I think if he'd just done him if he'd looked at what the keeper was doing, he could have just passed it in the other way. But some strikers don't do that. Some penalty takers don't do that. They make their mind up and they won't change it. Everyone's got a routine. Go on, Ronaldo, you're in it. Oh. Ricky says that England, Scotland and Wales are going to try and get the World Cup in 2030. I'd love to have a World Cup. We had the Euros in '96. It was absolutely fantastic. I'd love to have the World Cup in the UK. It'd be brilliant. '90 Kaka 100 is my most memorable World Cup. Tom says, I still wish there was 3 matches. I think it's so sad that we've got no 1 PM games anymore. I know we're not even halfway through the World Cup, but when the 1 PM games finished yesterday, it was like we'd lost something. It's not nice. I know we're getting more games because we're getting 4 games a day, but two of them are set. 2 teams playing at the same, 4 teams playing at the same time, and it makes the highlights package a bit better on the evening. But we got about 15 minutes left. 15 minutes left, Raphael. 5 says, how much would it cost to get Harry Kane out of Spurs? Well, he's just signed a new contract, hasn't he? Which I thought was a bit stupid of him, really. But I would imagine 200 million. Just because he plays for Spurs and Daniel Levy does drive a hard bargain. I still want 1 in the Spain game, Reagan. Nadim, we didn't do a watch-along for the Spain game because Xander wasn't available tonight. But there's some games we won't do them for anyway when 4 teams are playing at the same time. Like Thursday night, we're not going to do Tunisia versus Panama. I hate to disappoint people, but we'll just do England and Belgium. We won't be doing Tunisia and Panama at the same time. See, I did say that, Kunal, about Spain. It looks like Spain are quite satisfied with the draw against... Well, Ronaldo might be in a bit of trouble here. If there's a bit of VAR, I think Ronaldo might be in trouble here. Oh, shit. VAR for Ronaldo. I don't think that's a red, but Morocco scored as well. Nah. There's no contact on his face at all. He just pushes past. Might give him a yellow. That's what I would do. The more you look at it, the less it is. It's not a red. He's looked at that so many times that it's not a red card. He is going to give it though, I reckon. Yellow card. I think the yellow card's about right. It's a yellow. Yellow card to Ronaldo. He's lucky because a lesser ref could have given him a red. I mean, you could imagine Michael Oliver getting that. He'd love it. He'd be like, oh, I'm going to be in all the papers. I'm going to be all the papers. Morocco are winning 2-1. So, if Iran could get a late goal, they would knock Spain out. Is that right? I wonder if Carlos Queiroz is telling them that. I think it was a yellow card for Ronaldo. But I think a lesser referee, would have given a red. And I think that a yellow card's the right decision. Don't know what people else think. The build up to see if it was a red, says Peter, but it was entertaining, wasn't it? It was hot in the mouth a little bit. It's a shame that Portugal just can't let Iran get a draw and knock Spain out. Andrew Rossi says yellow was fair. No more than a yellow, says Kevin. Portugal should purposely concede. I don't think that does that put Iran through though? I don't think it puts Iran through anyway. It puts them on the same points. And I would imagine Iran have got more yellow cards. Yeah, Gary Wells is right. Spain have scored more, so they need to... No, I think it comes down to yellows. I will set a task to people there. Even though Spain are losing, I think even if Iran get a point, Spain still go through. Because it would go to... yeah, Dev says Spain still qualify even if Iran score. Yeah, that's what I thought. Joydeep thinks Iran would go through with a draw. I don't. I think yellow for getting past someone who is in your way, says Danny Smith. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Danny. Yeah, if Mark Willis is right, Morocco need to score 2 more goals and Iran need to draw. So it's not happening for Iran anyway, is it? But I mean, Spain have been shocking in the group stage, but they limp through. It's like Germany, isn't it? They just, these big countries. Argentina as well, they've still got a chance to go through. So, Spain versus Uruguay could be interesting. That defend very, very well. Uruguay, Godin and Jimenez will be very, very used to the Spanish way of playing as well, as will Suarez. So, Uruguay could give Spain a decent game, to be honest. And Portugal, Russia, again, I think that's going to be an interesting game. So, I'm looking forward to those. Yeah, looking forward to them. I think they're played on Saturday, aren't they? We can even start to see when these games are going to be played now. So Group A and Group B is what it is. Knockout stage. Saturday night will be Uruguay versus Spain, if it stays as it is. And Sunday at 3 o'clock will be Russia against Portugal. Bring it on. Bring it on. Remember, subscribe if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, we're doing every World Cup game as a watch along. Really enjoying it, and this game's been a bit of an odd game, but we've still had a couple of moments. We could have lost Ronaldo, couldn't we? He's had his yellow card now, so he needs to be careful. Missed a penalty as well. Spain losing to Morocco. Remember, I'm live on the United Stand at 9 o'clock as well. Actually, that just reminds me. Free kick straight at Iran. So Iran. The thing about Iran is they've only conceded 2 goals in 3 games, which for them, you know, defensively well organised under Carlos Queiroz. You got to give it that. You got to give him credit for that. You have. Iran here on the attack. Cross comes in, headed down. I think if there was a scenario here that if Iran got a late equaliser, it knocks Spain out, I think Portugal probably would do it. But that scenario doesn't materialise as it stands at the moment. That's not a handball. I think they're looking at a VAR for a handball now. No. You can't have a VAR for that. Man United is my City, says Defo handball. Iran want it. I think the biggest loser in this is Morocco. Morocco beating Spain. If they'd have only beaten Iran... ...6 minutes of additional time. Don't really know what's going on here. Spain equalise. No, they're offside. I don't see how this is a penalty. Heads it down onto the player's arm. It's natural movement. It's not a penalty for me. He's going to go and have a look. Now, I think we've had too many VAR moments in this game, though, so I thought the referee was quite good at first, but it's getting out of hand. It's killing the game. Too many VAR games. Too much VAR in this. It's like American football. I think he'll give that penalty, you know. But for me, I don't think it is a penalty. I think when you watch it in slow time, he'll give it. But yeah, he's giving it. It's not a penalty. I don't think it was a penalty. He's giving it though. I think as soon as they go and look at something in slow motion like that, it makes it a penalty, doesn't it? But I don't think it was a penalty anyway. Spain have scored anyway, so it's 2-2, which means Portugal will play Uruguay, and Spain will get Uruguay. Spain will play Russia. It's just amazing, isn't it? This VAR just spins it around ridiculously. So, I don't know. He scores the penalty as well. Still plenty of time in this game as well. So 1-1. Let's change the score. Permutations are really interesting now, but I despair at this VAR now. I mean, that wasn't a penalty, I don't think. How's a player meant to get his arm out of the way when it's headed down onto his hand from a metre? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy, but... I don't think it's too late for Iran. I just maybe there'll be another VAR moment. You know, just get it in the box and dive. Really, this ref will give it. Oh, side netting for Iran. What a chance! Drops to him in the box. Side netting, and I tell you what, if you're on the other side of the goal, I feel sorry for you because the net moved. So. Portugal are all at sea now, and oh god, I tell you what, if you're on the other side of the pitch, you can see the Iranians, they're celebrating because it hits the side of the net. Must be absolutely horrible. Shocking miss, says Denzel. Miss of the century, says Hal Now. Toby the Greatest says that referees ruining the World Cup. Uh, 2-2 for Spain, so they're top of the group. Uruguay Portugal will be a tough game tough game to call. You'd fancy Spain to beat Russia now. I think Uruguay would have given Spain a go. Tense end to this game, isn't it? You can't say it's not exciting. Dev says Portugal went from topping the group to getting kicked out in the space of 2 minutes. What could happen? It could happen. I feel that there might be something going on in this. Iran on the attack. Portugal just seem to be bottling it a bit. Carvalho. Might be a breakaway goal here if Portugal can get rid of it. Just put the cross in. Keeper's going to have to get that. No. We're over 6 minutes, but there's been so much stoppage time. It's unbelievable. Andre Gordon saying extra stoppage time. We're nearly into the 97th minute. There's meant to be +6, but there's been so many stoppages. Remember, we're going to be live on the United Stand after this at 9 o'clock, talking Manchester United like we are every night at 9 o'clock. I've put an eye in the top right-hand corner with the link to that. But still not over yet. I still think there's about another minute left, to be honest. Ref's got the whistle nowhere near. Is it over? Ronaldo's not shaking anyone's hand. He's off. He's not interested at all. He's just walking off, Ronaldo. Guerres and the manager having a bit of a moan. What an end. It was a good watch, wasn't it, Snaps? It was a good watch. And Iran are devastated. Portugal go through. Spain go through. Portugal will now play Uruguay. Spain with that late goal means they top the group and they will play Russia. So it changed around in 2 minutes. Iran actually had the chance to win it. I think it was a dodgy penalty, but that's basically changed it all around. Please do subscribe if you're new. We're nearly at 39,300. Remember, we're back tomorrow live at midday with the transfer review. Then we've got the 3 o'clock games. Then we've got Argentina versus Nigeria tomorrow night. I'm going to be live on the United Stand in probably about 5 minutes' time. It might be a little bit late, actually, because this is overrun. But link is in the, if you click the eye in the top right-hand corner, or just go to the United Stand. I'll be live in about 5 minutes there. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Portugal get through. Spain get through. Probably didn't go the way any of us predicted they would. I went 2-0 for Spain, 2-0 for Portugal. We get a 1-1 and a 2-2. That's football. I'll see you all tomorrow, or I'll see you on the United Stand in a few minutes. Thanks for watching.